You may be watching this now when you are hungover, and I want to tell you, you didn't wake up today hungover because you are weak. You woke up hungover because your brain is desperately trying to balance the chemical seesaw that you have been tipping to one side for years. And I have come to learn that alcohol was never the issue for myself. It was the pain I was carrying that I could not bear to deal with alone, without the addiction, without the alcohol, without all of the other substances I would use for close to a 40-year period of my life. Before I go any further, I want to tell you as I'm making this video now that I am fully healed from all of my addiction-related issues. I am not here to judge your drinking. I am here to show you the biological trap that is keeping you held prisoner. I want to show you how to separate your identity from the urges that keep dragging you back into the darkness so you can finally take control of your life. I would spend 40 years of my life trying to numb down a nervous system that had been stuck in high alert since childhood. I lived a pretty difficult childhood, as I've mentioned in some of my other videos. However, I do not believe in self-pity. I believe in understanding where we are right now and then taking action to get to the place where we want to be. I worked in the nightclub industry for 30 years, so that enabled me to drink without anybody noticing that I had an issue. I was very good at hiding the fact that I was an addict. So good, in fact, I never knew myself until I would eventually heal. And it's only through hindsight that I am able to make these videos for you. I would move to Asia in an effort to heal. And I did that after I tragically lost my first daughter. Life had become unbearable. I would go down an even darker path. I would return to the UK in 2019. I was struggling with a lot of severe addiction issues. I was a full-blown alcoholic. I was struggling with a life-threatening illness. I had survived 2 attempts to end it all, and I was a broken man. I had lost everything, still trapped in the grips of addiction. I came back to the UK as a single parent with my amazing 9-year-old daughter. Over the last few years, I have managed to heal myself. I have one more course to do, then I will be a therapist. But that is not why I'm making these videos. I want to make these videos as my life has been very different. However, I do feel like it's my purpose now to try and reach out to as many people as I possibly can. As I know the online world is so fake, so many people just pretending to be something they're not, trying to give you advice and help on topics that they truly do not know anything about, having not lived the experience themselves. I do know what it's like to live the life of a lie, then have to face each day knowing that you have let yourself down again. I do understand. When you drink, your body releases lots of dopamine. However, your brain does like to stay in homeostasis. Your body reacts by releasing stress hormones like cortisol and dynorphin. This is to bring you back down. And that is why you can wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning with a racing heart and a mind full of dread and regret. That is called the opponent process. And that means the more you use alcohol to feel better, the worse your baseline becomes. And I do want to make it clear to you, you're not a failure. You're a person whose survival mechanism has gone into overdrive. I do understand. I've been exactly where you are when you're watching this video. And that is the paradox of alcohol. Your brain is simply trying to protect you from the chemical that you are giving it. Alcohol is poison to our bodies. I know that all too well. And I do understand what that feels like. You can be screaming out for just one more drink to try to stop the chaos within your mind, to try to stop everything around you from feeling disconnected and unable to grasp onto the present moment. Your mind is screaming for just one more drink to stop the world from spinning. I understand how you can feel at times. That is the physical reality of a brain that has been rewired to see alcohol as the only way to be safe. I am now 52 years old, and I would spend 40 years of my life using alcohol and other substances to prevent me from facing the true issues I was dealing with. So I understand what it can be like to not want to even look at yourself in the mirror, to not be able to face the person that you have become. I existed in that place. I would use the alcohol and the other substances as a cut-off switch. You may think that you are relaxing, you can think that you are coping, but what you are doing is destroying the peace of your future self. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad or to try to explain what you're doing is wrong, but you're watching this video now for a reason. You cannot get the years back that have happened before, but you can make some small, simple changes today that will help you to have a better future. You cannot afford to stay stuck in self-pity or wait until your next fix to get you through the day. What I would like to suggest to you is stop waiting for the perfect day to quit and start being the person who survives the hardest day, which is today. And I do want to be clear with you. Healing is messy, it's destructive, and at times it can be almost impossible. But I want you to know that we can all come back from the darkest places. I'm living proof of that. I do want to be honest, I never sugarcoat things. Healing is messy. Healing can destroy your sense of self. It is the only way to find the life that you deserve. When the craving hits and your brain starts to negotiate for just one more drink, eat 30 grams of protein and drink a large glass of water with some sea salt. This stabilizes your blood sugar and reduces the physiological signal that your brain can often confuse with craving for alcohol. It pulls you out of the mental loop and back into your physical body. When you're in a social environment or you're at home, where the act of pouring a drink can feel automatic, change the environment in which you're in, move to a different room, or pour yourself a non-alcoholic drink in a different type of glass. This will help you to break the habit of automatically reaching for drink. This breaks the environmental cue that you will often receive and prevents the dopamine spike before you even take the first sip. By doing this, you're teaching your brain that it does not require a chemical change. Another thing you can do is when your mind is telling you that you've already failed, so one more drink won't matter, message one person that you trust and tell them exactly how you feel without the need to self-censor. And I do know this works. Shame grows in secrecy, but it cannot survive when you share your feelings with another person who you trust and you know will support you, especially during this difficult time. And I am very passionate about this topic. I would like you to stop scrolling on your mobile phone. It is just causing more chaos within your mind, giving you non-stop dopamine spikes, which do have the same effect as alcohol, maybe in a less destructive manner to your physical being. Non-stop scrolling on your mobile phone is causing you just as much damage as drinking a bottle of vodka. I know that all too well, as I have been studying addiction issues for many years in an effort to heal myself. What you need is less stimulation and hydration. That way you can begin the process of neuroplasticity. This is where your mind will learn to create new pathways, new signals. This will help you to heal in the long term. One of the most beneficial things you can do is to create a small, simple routine for your day. Prioritize self-care and structure. This will help you to know that you are safe and you do not need to reach for a drink. Always talk to yourself with the same kindness that you would to a friend who was struggling. You are not your worst enemy. However, sometimes we can get trapped in a negative loop of self-hatred and self-despair. I understand that all too well. I existed in the darkness for close to 50 years of my life. I'm now 52 years old as I make this video for you, and I am fully healed. No more addiction issues, no more self-hatred, and no more self-loathing, no more self-sabotage. Now, I had to do things the difficult way, and uploading these videos online is not the kind of thing I ever thought I would do. But I do feel like now this is my purpose. I want to help others to heal from the darkness. Throughout my life, I have had to endure a great deal of pain. I would lose my first daughter tragically. I would then raise my second child as a single parent. I returned to the UK in 2019 and I had lost everything. My health, my home, my business had collapsed. But I have now found a peace that alcohol could never provide. And I am proof that you can go through a life of trauma and addiction and still live a life of calm, peace, and stillness without the chaos of addiction. I truly do know that if you're still watching this video now, I haven't bored you to death, thankfully. Healing is possible for all of us. If you are still watching this video, I do know that you want to heal, that you do want to make the change today so that you can have a better future tomorrow. Nobody says it will be easy. Nobody says it will be a walk in the park. It may well be the most difficult thing you've ever had to do. But when you get through this non-stop cycle of loops and addictions, if you keep going every single day, you will find the life that you deserve. And I also know this all too well. When you get the urge to drink, that will pass. However, if you do give in to that urge, the regret always stays with you and it reinforces the negative actions. If you're still watching this now, I would like you to leave me a one-word comment below. Comment survivor. Then I will know that you've seen this and that you are ready to start your journey to healing. And as I've said before, I am living proof that you can heal as long as you keep fighting every day and you never stop, you never give up.